Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of I Cast Fireball, an actual play 5e D&D adventure where we go through the campaign Skulls and Shackles. I am Thomas, your GM for this adventure, and around the table we have
Lieutenant Ignis Halcon,
Maximus Shuns,
Ataraxia Kalian,
and Buster Bilgewater.
the crew be finding themselves deep in the depths of a watery tunnel, a cave system, if you will. As they're trying to navigate this cave system, we had some mishaps with the Baja Blast and the Crunchwrap and Baja Blast. But realizing that there was nothing to do but just start swimming through the cave system, the crew did so. Now, there was one encounter where a clutch tidal wave and everybody's fast thinking was critical in quickly dispatching of the Sahuagin in the tunnels, and they quickly came across a cave of eggs suspended from the air.
I don't know. We don't need to go over that again. We don't need to.
a cave of Sahuagin eggs, yes.
After some tough decisions were made, the crew found themselves... Some of the crew found themselves more subdued than the others, and as they continued forward throughout the rest of this Sahuagin lair, being in enemy lines and having to make these tough choices, they went under complete darkness, for they had entered the feeding frenzy room, or as we like to call it as humans, the dining room, where the Sahuagins were ripping into some recent kills. Ignis, with her dark vision, was leading them through, and thanks to everybody's great stealth rolls, which I believe Ignis or somebody got inspiration to come above on that stealth, they have now made it almost side by side, the Sahuagin and this hammerhead shark that are chowing down on their meal, and they have initiated combat. That is where we join our adventurers on this week's episode of I Cast Fireball. Everybody, roll initiative.
Hey, you said we got a surprise round, if memory serves.
Yes,
We
I do have
I do
a
have
big
that written
note
down.
scrawled all the way across my character sheet. Surprise round.
Yes. And I should clarify, it's not a surprise round because 5e doesn't do rounds,
Oh.
but they all have the surprised condition, which, for my sake, is the same thing.
I see. Okay.
Crunch Squad.
Yeah. Crunch Squad. Let's get initiative. Buster.
18.
Nice. Ignis.
W, natural 20, plus 3 for a 23.
23, Max.
23 is nice. 26 is better.
Did you nat 20 as well?
No, I rolled an 18, but I have plus 8 initiative, baby.
Oh, man.
Holy cow.
That's bonkers.
He doesn't have
an
the armor on right now.
ataraxia.
He needs it.
I do. That's true.
That's fair. Ataraxia.
7.
Ow! Taking your spot up on the rear. All right, and I rolled a 2 and a 1. We're doing great. Using my brand new dice holder roller.
Hey!
And, oh, there's a good one. Okay, that's a 17. And then the shark, a little dexterous in the water, rolled a natural 1. So, all right. So, everybody Ataraxia gets to go before the enemies here. So, let's paint the scene, all right? As you recall, Ignis, you had your echo, which was about 30 feet in front of you, sort of scouting about. But as you came within 10 feet of this feeding frenzy, still stealthed, literally shoved into the shadows, everybody hands on shoulders to the person in front of you, swimming, trying to get as close to them as possible. Ignis, you lit, I believe, the Sahuagin's armor with a light spell illuminating the entire room. As it illuminates, you see it a little bit murky because of the fish parts that had been left over that haven't quite been eaten yet. And so there's a little bit of particles that you're going to be swimming through during this combat specifically as a result of that. There's a little bit of blood in the water as a result. And there are some Sahuagin here that are surprised, and this shark is just distracted. Now, I will say there are only 3 fighting aged or fighting able Sahuagin currently eating, but there are some retired Sahuagin or non-combatant Sahuagin in here as well that are also caught unawares. But in the order that I've got,
So you're telling us we killed the youth last time, and now we're going to kill the geriatric.
I'm just merely describing the scene as Ignis and then Ataraxia, Buster, and Max. That's the order you are in the line, meaning the marching order, but we start with Max. Now, all of these folks have the surprised condition, which for my sake, I'm going to say they don't get to act. So, Max, it is your go. You are the closest Sahuagin to you is 10 feet away. The shark is 5, 10, 30 feet away from your current position.
Okay. I will bonus action Slayer's Prey the shark,
Nice.
and I will shoot it with my crossbow.
Let us see what you get.
Shebang. That is a 23.
23 is a hit, sir.
Okay. I'm also going to cast I'm going to, when I first hit a creature, I'm going to use Favored Foe on it as well.
All right.
Okay, here we go. That's going to be 14 damage.
14 damage to that shark as you and right into its side. The shark is caught unawares at this point. 14 damage to it. That is a good chunk there. Jacob, I forgot to give you advantage on this because they had the surprised condition. So let's have your second attack be with advantage.
Okay. See what you did there. If I didn't roll a natural 20, I could have doubled all those dice. Yeah. And not a natural 20, so that's okay. But still, good roll. That's a 26.
All right. Wow. 26.
Wow.
Good gravy. Wow. Good gravy.
Wow. Okay. And that is going to be... I add my damage modifier to both attacks, right?
Yes, because they are separate attacks.
Yeah.
It's
I
per
don't know why I
attack.
blanked on that. That's 12 damage.
12, sir. Ooh, all right. Thank you for the information. This shark is looking bloodied. The blood in the water is starting to get even thicker and thicker, and so it is getting illuminated as this shark is getting bloodied and is not looking too happy here. So, we now jump down to Ignis.
All right, Ignis's Echo will take the Sahuagin right in front of her that has the lit armor and will just kind of scoop up underneath it and 3 times jab that borrowed spear that she picked up from the last session right into that Sahuagin's gut.
Dang, 3 attacks?
Yes, because I get extra attacks.
Dang.
And then I can unleash Incarnation. So I get 3.
Oof. Okie dokie. This first one's with advantage, we'll say.
Okay. 15.
Mm-hmm. That is a hit.
That one's a 13.
That one's a hit.
Ooh. And that one is a 15.
Oh boy. Okay, yeah, 3 hits.
That would be 13 piercing damage.
Oof. For all 3 attacks, 13 piercing. This Sahuagin is looking bloodied as well. There is not a churning in the water, but just a thickness that is quickly filling this area of the pool, and some of these non-combatant, elderly, younger Sahuagin, they are starting to catch wind of what's going on and getting alerted to the attack here, realizing that it's not just the blood from the meal. Anything else, Ignis?
That is it. Real Ignis will stay up against the wall right next to Ataraxia, and that Echo will just stay right in front of that Sahuagin they stabbed.
All right, Buster, goes to you.
Okay. It's just these 3 Sahuagin that are in front of us?
These 3 are the only ones that are battle ready. There are 8 other non-combatant Sahuagin in this chamber, and then there's that shark as well.
And we already know from the previous fish person we talked to that there is a king somewhere.
Yes, there is a king.
Okay. All right. Rather than just asking you to give me information, I'm going to cast a spell to hopefully gain that information.
Great.
Buster will kind of bide his time behind the kind of, rather than leading the swing with magic like he did at the last encounter, he gets the sense that there's more going on here, and he doesn't want to start drawing a bunch of attention to himself just yet. He wants to figure out exactly what's going on. So I'm going to spend the surprise round not drawing attention to myself, and he's going to, one of the lines of his scarf will begin to glow, and he will say,
"Be foreign tongue or foreign pen, be they unknown, I comprehend."
And he does the comprehend language spell.
Ooh, not what I thought you were doing.
So he'll be able to understand any directions or orders being given, and specifically, he's listening in for any kind of deference or, I mean, it's the literal. He doesn't get like the full like language, like he can actually understand language. He gets the literal meaning of the language, and I just want to know if I can identify who the king is. If there's anybody speaks of anything like that, I want to pick up on any kind of language like that to identify where this individual might be.
Yeah, so there is a cacophony of noise as you cast this. There are some screams in Sahuagin, and as you're used to this now, from anybody listening in or seeing it happen, it's just these garbled snarls that are underwater, and just they change instantly to men and women and their voices screaming at the top of their lungs or muttering under their breath things like, "I gotta get out of here," or the other one going, "Quick, warn the king! Get him out of here!"
Where's that direction? What direction is that being?
And another person being like, "Where is he? When's the last time I saw him?" A woman going, "I saw him in the throne room. I saw him. He's somebody needs to warn him." So there's just a lot of cacophony of noise, but that is the literal meaning that you get from this exchange between these 11 individuals. Max, knowing Aquin, you definitely pick up on this as well. For you have to get like context clues in some instances, right, to translate it into direct common, as opposed to Buster getting a more pure translation into common. But yes, to you, it is the garbled screams and yells of Sahuagin that you can interpret.
Can I roll anything to figure out what direction they're saying they may have last seen the king, or is that my next turn?
I'm going to give you a perception check, but the DC will be quite high.
Okay, perception check. Let's do it. I am proficient, but that is just a 15.
15. It is so busy and bloodied around here, it's hard to pick up if people are pointing or moving in that direction. If on a future turn you want to try and spend your whole action, that DC will be lower.
Okay.
Especially as things get moved around, as combat gets moved forward.
That's it for me.
Great. Not the spell as expecting you to cast. Great. And now we go to Sahuagin. The Sahuagin directly in the middle, right next to Ignis, but not the one that is damaged, turns and looks at you and ends their turn by no longer being surprised.
Yay.
But that is it. And they get their weapon out, and that is the extent that they can do. So they no longer have attacks that are advantage against them. It's Ataraxia's turn.
And it sounds to me like it's fairy fire time.
Fairy fire.
There's no rhyme or reason to it anymore.
There is it.
Fairy fire, you get caught up in the fairy fire. Ataraxia has to do something to cast the fairy fire, right? There's a verbal component, so I mean, fairy fire, you will get caught if you do fairy fire.
We made that canon, really.
Oh, yeah. All right. And it's a save, correct?
Yep, dexterity save, DC 15.
That's a fail. Success. Fail. And a success.
Okay, we got 2 successes. I'm going to fairy fire one of those. No, I mean silvery barbs. Going to silvery barbs one of those.
Silvery Barb's one of those. Ooh.
Yes.
You want to do my first one? We'll say it's the first one. How about that?
Yeah, let's go for that.
Yeah, it's a fail.
Booyah. And now, Max goes up first in the initiative. Let's give him the advantage there.
Nice.
And then Ignis is right after him, so let's give her Bardic as a bonus action.
There we go. Any movement, Ataraxia? I imagine you just stay put, right?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty decent where I am.
Does Echo Ignis need to make that save, or is it all foes or all creatures?
It's all creatures within a 20-foot cube, but I placed it just north of your Echo.
Well, and the Echo's not a creature.
That's another question.
I have had this argument
there you
before. Yes, that's
Because
right.
it's a construct, so maybe it didn't matter.
There you go. All right. Does that mean if hold monster would hold the Echo? I don't think so.
It wouldn't.
No, it wouldn't.
'Cause it's a
Because it's a
construct.
construct still.
My understanding is that if it has a stat block, it's a creature.
Yeah. Creature is like a holistic term.
And yours does not have a stat block. It just has 1 HP.
Have we
We
Googled
will
this yet?
look into this later.
But yeah, we
Okay,
have. We've,
we
we've
have
said
swapped
it's
it.
we've
Multiple
said that it's
times.
an object and a construct.
Okay.
It's not a creature because it does not get
Yeah.
flanking and all the other
Yeah.
benefits of a creature.
And she has to choose which one, her or this Echo, like, act on a turn.
Yeah.
So it's not like
Exactly.
a wholly unique creature. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't get its own
okay.
action and stuff. Yeah.
So, Ataraxia, that's you. And then the other Sahuagin, they also get their weapons out. And one of them pulls out 2 scimitars and is going to try and do something there. But then the one right in front of the Echo also spits out some black bile and holds its side as it takes out its crossbow. And that is going to be Max's turn now. Back to the top of combat.
That's not a crossbow. This is a crossbow. I'm going to shoot the shark. And I have advantage.
All right, shooting the shark. That's with advantage, sir. Yep. Every attack is with advantage.
Okay. That is a 27 to hit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. 17 damage.
17 damage. All right, this shark is on death's door. It is starting to like swim, not in place because sharks can't do that. It's starting to wind up its tail, as you can tell, to try to swim away, desperate to be away from this hurt that it is taken.
All right, it's on death's door. Let's kick that door down. Extra attack.
Boom, with advantage, sir.
Natural 20.
Let's go. Let's go. Max just sees a bunch of new teeth for his accoutrement on his person.
A full.
There you go. Give me that. Okay. Doubling the dice. Oh, that was a terrible roll, but 7.
7. Yeah, Max, tell us how it's done.
I shoot him in the face. No.
Can't get teeth that way.
It's a shark. Well, you know, like it's kind of like and he just shoots the bolt right into the gullet and up into the brain stem, and the shark is now in death's home.
Its shark is now fish food. All right, that shark is now done. Anything else, Max, on your turn? That was just your attacks?
Those were
Bonus action, movement?
Did we say which way the king?
Not yet. But
Okay.
If Buster, on Buster's turn, I will relay some information regardless if Buster decides to spend an action listening or perceiving.
Okay. I will just I can't hold movement, so yeah, I'm just gonna that's my turn.
All right. Ignis goes to you.
That echo that's holding that... The echo is still holding that Sahuagin, and after the 3 stabs, still didn't go down, so it's just going to jab in and then start twisting it until that Sahuagin just gives up.
Yep, go and roll. That hurts.
Just 2.
Hurts just to think about it. 13.
I'm really not very good
13's a
for this.
hit.
Oh, that's better. That's a 19.
19 to hit, yes.
That's 10 piercing damage.
Oh, 10 is enough. Just enough to send the Sahuagin to the depths where you already currently are at. Both of those were with advantage, correct?
No, but it's fine. It hit.
All right. Sounds good. Enough to hit and enough to be able to send the Sahuagin down. This Echo of Ignis, the black-clad-in wetsuit type Ignis, is now defeating one of your enemies. Any movement or bonus action, Ignis?
Ignis will move that echo through the water. It doesn't swim. She just moves it. And as it glides sideways in the water to stand then right in front of the next one, like next up, and just get ready for that.
Just very almost Jedi-like, just moving them 5 feet to the side, just in direct control of where this echo lands. We now go to Buster.
Okay, yeah, I want to spend my turn listening in and see if I can figure out exactly where the direction of the king would be. If that's a roll, could I get advantage on it?
Yes, you may. Because you're spending such extra time, you prepped it in the last one, and now you are spending the entire turn, no movement, no bonus action, to just perceive. You get advantage on this, and the DC is a little bit lower.
Okay.
Not much.
Still perception, right?
Still perception.
Okay, not investigation.
Correct. All right. Because you're trying to see what is happening, not you.
15 for the first roll, and 15 is what I'm going to stay with.
All right, so 15 total for your perception as you get clued in on what's the conversation that's going on.
A moderate roll, not a bad roll.
Pretty good. I mean, that's a very good roll. As my DM screen says. And as the cacophony of noise, again, is very crystal clear to you. One of them saying, they're slaughtering us, we gotta get out of here. Another person going, quick, go on the king, get out, go. And they all start to swarm in different directions. Nobody's going towards you, of course, but there are some that are going down to the southwest, where Ignis's echo originally pointed, but there are some that are going directly north as well. You think there's only one person going north. There's a number of people going southwest. There are some that seem to be, a couple that seem to be going to the east. You're not sure if they're going to one of those 3 locations, but one of them, is where you came from, the other 2 being blocked by seaweed. So that's what you pick up on. And Max, you pick up on that conversation as well, as people just swim and are holding on to each other.
So we hear them say someone warned the king. We all see them go to those 3 directions. Do I get any intuition as to the ones talking about warning the king, which of those 3 they seem to be moving in? The ones dialoguing about that?
Yeah, with your 15, I'll say the people that are going to the southwest are a lot of the younger or much older. So like I'll call them the invalids, meaning just they're not
combatants really. They're
correct.
Yeah.
And although there are some that maybe look fitter that are off duty, they just don't have any weapons. Those are the ones that are going either north or to the east. And so a lot of the non-combatant ones that are older, younger are heading to the southwest, and then you've got the 1, maybe 2 people heading directly north, and then the others going east that seem to be able-bodied.
My intuition would be that the able-bodied ones are warning the king, and the non-combatants are fleeing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I communicate that to the crew. I say,
Hey, listen, I've been listening to their language. I get the vibe that a couple of these guys heading north are heading to get the king.
Okay. As that is uttered, it now goes to the Sahuagin here, who takes out, let's see, they have the just pole arm, the javelin, and they're going to try to go directly through Ignis's Echo and try to go all the way through to Ignis as well. It being a reach weapon, actually. This one that they've got on. And so they're going to try and attack. Here we go. One more time. That is a... Oh no, I don't think that's enough. Oof, that is just a 13 to hit.
The shadow Ignis uses that spear in her hand and switches her grip and just knocks it out of the way. Somehow both being translucent and suddenly solid as it connects with their javelin and knocks it out of the way.
No weapon in their hands. That is they do get one more attack. And so this one is with their bite, though. And so they're just going to chomp down on Ignis, right? The Echo Ignis, to just try to dispel them, get him out of there. And that is only an 8. Only an 8. So how does Echo Ignis deflect this one?
As they go to bite forward, she just hangs onto their gills on the side and pulls down and knees them in their jaw as they're coming up. So they end up just biting into their own lips.
Oh gosh, I'll do 1 damage to themselves. That was such a good description. Yeah, and this is just not a good time for this Sahuagin, and they're also going to try to swim away, actually. Leave your area of effect here, and so you get...
And Shadow Ignis does get an attack of opportunity.
Yes, that is. Go ahead and roll.
I mean, they're allowed. Does she get one? I guess it's not... Sorry, Thomas. She gets it.
She gets it, all right.
Because they're fairy fired, is that all? It's only on an attack?
No, this is an attack, so it's with advantage.
That's really good, because it was a 3. 16 with that spear.
16's a hit.
6 piercing damage as it just slashes in front of her and just scrapes along its fin on its back, giving it a nice scar.
This Sahuagin is going to go... Yeah, this Sahuagin is going to go north. 10... 40 away and off into the shadows.
Wait, it is fairy fired though.
Yes, it is.
Even if it isn't in shadows. Yeah.
So yeah, even though they go into the darkness to where you can't see, the light doesn't illuminate that far. Fairy fire does illuminate it, so you can see it going down into this corridor, but it does look like it is going to start bending to the left to where it'll just be out of range due to the natural rock formation, but that is all it can do on its turn, is get just 40 feet down. That is their go. And now, Ataraxia, it goes to you, sir. There is only one Sahuagin that is not fairy fired 10 feet away from you. The other Sahuagin that is fairy fired is 50 feet away from you down a corridor where Buster said, hey, I think north might be where we want to go.
I mean, are either of them looking particularly hurt to the point where maybe 2d4 psychic damage could make a difference?
It didn't seem like they were bloodied. The one in front of you has not taken any damage whatsoever.
Yeah. Ugh. I mean, my attacks are so bad because I made Ataraxia to be a support character.
That's all right. We got Sahuagins to follow. We do, in fact. And trying to find a good spell that is not concentration, because I do still have the fairy fire up. I mean, I guess we'll just Vicious Mockery, the one who's taken some damage.
All right. How far away is that one? What's the range of that spell again?
Vicious Mockery has a range of 60 feet.
That is just in enough range to be able to mock them. So, how do you mock the Sahuagin?
Oh, come on. You don't want us to see your face? What's wrong with it?
And that is a wisdom save?
Wisdom save, DC 15.
That's a 2 on the dice, so
okay.
That is a failure.
There we go. That is 3 psychic damage.
Hey!
But at least it has disadvantage on the next attack it makes before the end of its next turn.
This Sahuagin is looking bloody due to that psychic damage.
Oh,
There's some
nice.
blood coming out of its nose. And it's swimming not just out of urgency and fear, but out of shame a little bit as well, knowing that its face was not what you wanted to see. Any movement, Ataraxia?
Movement, I think I'm good where I am.
Okay.
Bardic Inspiration to max this time.
Very nice, very nice. So, it now goes to the other Sahuagin, who has not taken any damage here. This one, with the 2 javelins, is going to go right at you, Ataraxia. It knows a little bit about magic, and it's just 10 feet from you, so it's going to take 5 feet, and it's going to do a attack with a short sword, or a scimitar, as I said.
Do scimitars have disadvantage underwater?
What I read is for underwater combat, when making a melee, a creature that doesn't have a swimming speed has disadvantage.
There we go. So
But
these guys are
Sahuagins
good.
all have swimming speeds, so which means, Max, since you have a swimming speed, no weapon to you should have disadvantage. So, Max, since you have a swimming speed, technically you have a swimming speed, right?
Yes, I do.
So that means that for melee weapon attacks, you don't have automatic disadvantage due to being underwater because of your swimming speed. So if you ever do take up a melee weapon, something to keep in mind.
I do have a scimitar at my side, which I rarely use.
There you go. Well, now you know you can use it without a disadvantage underwater. But the Sahuagin is going to try to lay into Ataraxia specifically. This is going to do a 2-handed attack, for the first one being it was a 19 on the die, as I said. And this is so that's going to be a 23 to hit.
That's a big ol' hit.
All right. And then the second one is going to be a 2 on the dice. So nothing there.
Indeed.
Has Ataraxia ever taken damage?
A couple times. It doesn't happen very often, but on occasion it's been known to happen.
Max, we know you're the one that just bleeds always, so. All right, that's going to be 9 points of slashing damage for you, Ataraxia.
Oh boy.
And that's a concentration spell from you, sir.
All right. Plus my constitution, that is a 10.
That is exactly what you needed. So
That
Fairy
it
Fire
is.
is still up and illuminating the cavern. The last thing the Sahuagin's going to do, it is going to bite at the wetsuit Ignis. It does not want to get any more damage here, and it's seen it take out 2 of its friends, so it's going to try to bite down with a big old 12. Not enough to get to your AC, right?
A 12 does not hit that Shadow Ignis, as she does the opposite. She just comes down on top of his head with her elbow as he lunges forward. She moves out of the way, and as he passes by, she just comes down on top of his head.
And these teeth are gnarly. They are sick, and they are coated with recent blood. And with some of them have plaque, and this Sahuagin definitely needs to get some dental work done. Probably a couple pulled, most likely a root canal or 2, but nothing to.
But there's
you.
only one Sahuagin with crowns.
That is that, and we're gonna go back up to top, and that's gonna be Max. It's your go, sir. I should say real quick, Max, the Sahuagin that's going north, that is fairy fired. It's currently not in your vantage point. You did see it escape down there and illuminate, and there is an illumination, but because of your current being at the back, you would have to move closer to Ignis or Ataraxia to get a clear line of sight to shoot at them with a ranged attack.
Or you could wait for my turn and I could just teleport you to him.
Ooh, a good thought.
Wait. Because I was just going to move and shoot. Is there an advantage to teleporting to him?
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah, if you can just move and shoot, that's fine. I was just thinking I could pop you in front of him.
It'll save you a spell
You
too.
get 2 attacks if you go now.
It'll save you a
Right?
spell.
That's fair. You
I
wouldn't get
will
it.
swim over to see down the tunnel.
Are you going to swim closer to the tunnel, like in a diagonal, or are you just going to go like right over Buster, Ataraxia, and Ignis, keeping that 50-foot distance, or are you going to try to get closer and over to see them, to trying to bridge that gap?
I won't, because that'll provide an attack of opportunity, which you want. But I say no.
Well, there's always a choice.
So I will swim over to not give you that attack of opportunity and instead just see down the tunnel.
All right, sounds good. So still maintaining that 50 feet, you swim over Buster, Ataraxia, Ignis, and Max. Still swimming by the Sahuagin, but there's so much around there that he's not able to give the attack of opportunity as of right now. So it is still 50 feet away from you, but you can lock and load and let loose.
And I shoot with my crossbow. And I will roll 2 dice.
Yep.
With advantage because of fairy fire. And that is a non-natural 20.
Nice, that's a hit.
Yes.
And why don't you go and roll your second one as well?
Okay. First damage is 11.
Nice. Still up, but this Sahuagin is determined, barely hanging on.
15 for the second hit.
That is a hit.
9 damage for the second hit.
As this one sails through, it catches the Sahuagin right in the neck as it goes right through. It stops halfway, lodged in there as it gurgles this monstrous noise. Its momentum carries it forward as it was swimming, but it just knocks into the side of the rock and then kind of continues forward before resting and floating in the air, in the water, before you, defeated and dead, still fairy fired and illuminating the cavern. Well done, Max.
This is a random question. What did you illuminate again, Mickey or Ignis? What did Ignis illuminate again?
The armor of the Sahuagin that is right next to the shark. His body is just floating in the water, so it's lit.
She just has that magical ability to make one object illuminate.
A light cantrip. It's just his armor. Whatever he had on him that was just illuminating with the light cantrip.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Max will swim kind of forward to like the entrance of that tunnel that the dead Sahuagin was going down and just kind of pause there.
Yep, you can start swimming in that direction. You don't have enough swim to get all the way up, but yes.
Yes, gotcha. And he's just going to be listening for if there's any sound coming down through that tunnel, if there is.
Okay, sounds good. Max, your turn is done. It now goes to Ignis, right next to you, the Sahuagin, you and your Echo. Echo's tried to bite, the Sahuagin have tried to bite your Echo multiple times. Unsuccessfully, it goes to you, Miss.
For the attack action, she'll just, again, try and stab this one twice with her spear, since that seems to be working real good for her.
Stab is stab.
Stab is stab.
Twice, not with advantage, just normal.
No, but that's 21 and a 13.
Nice. Both hit.
10 piercing damage.
10 piercing damage. This Sahuagin is damaged and is looking bloodied.
And as that Sahuagin is now locked, at least his attention, with that Echo, Buster told us, he shouted out through the water the various people that he saw in the direction they were going.
Yes.
And my understanding, what we kind of landed on, and because Ignis is observant, but Mickey is not, we think that it's that, not the northern, but the northwestern cavern where the most able-bodied started to go, right? Was it straight north or the northwestern?
So there was the north, straight north and northeast that was going to the seaweed coverings, if you will. Those were the two directions the most able-bodied individuals were heading. And then, of course, the combatant one going directly north as well.
Well, I'm not just going to waste my movement standing here waiting for these guys to be able to get to their king, let them know that we're coming.
Hell yeah. I'm sorry. I mean, heck yeah. We got to get moving.
Buster, that one.
And she'll point to the northeastern one. Is that the one you want to go down, Josh? The seaweed one?
I was angling towards the north one.
North?
Personally. Well, I mean, just because, I don't know, the seaweed ones, like, they feel like they're, to me, it feels like they're like this level, and I feel like the king's on a different level. Would be that's my Buster instinct could be way, way off. But, I mean, I spent my whole turn trying to listen, could only roll a 15. And so, yeah, I think outside of interrogating one of these, the fact that this guy was running away down that direction when he thought he was going to die, like, when you're afraid you're going to die, you run towards help. And I feel like the king probably has the biggest, strongest people around him, so that's my instinct.
That's solid enough for me. And when she had prayed to Rolterra, not really knowing how effectively her prayer was answered, it was at this end of the tunnel, even though she felt like it was south of you guys, leaning on the skills of her team instead of her own knowledge. She wrestles with that internally for a moment and has to come to the point where she's like, I'm going to trust that instead of her own instinct. And so she'll just start swimming up north, leaving that Sahuagin entangled with her echo. So she'll go 30 feet north. And that leaves her echo within 25 feet of her, so it doesn't disappear yet.
Great. As you pleaded with your crew as you were journeying in the dark to trust, you take that advice and you go inward and you trust Buster to move forward north, and you start swimming past your echo, past Max. Now, I believe you don't have a swim speed, right?
I do not. So, yeah, I guess it's not. It's just.
But are you going to double?
I can. I took the attack action.
Oh, that's right.
So it's just 15 feet.
So 15, but you get right in front of Max, at least heading in that direction, supporting Max and Buster's choice here. Ignis, your turn is done. We now go to Buster.
Thomas, can you give me a sense of, like, how certain Buster is that this is the right direction or not? Does it feel like he's, like, it's a full-fledged gamble? Like, he doesn't have certainty?
It's not a full-fledged gamble, for sure.
Okay.
You don't have all the facts, but the facts that you do have, and because you didn't fight, you were listening in, you were clued in, that was your mission. You're like, this is the best educated guess I've got, but it is still an educated guess.
Yeah.
So there is some confidence, but being like, I might be wrong, but at least I feel confident in what I'm, if I move forward with this action, I can have confidence.
Yeah. Okay, here's what I'm struggling with. I can cast divination to get a sense of a goal of, like, where the king stays, where, like, the throne room is in this place. But it's my only 4th level spell, and in order to cast it, I would forego, like, a Mondo strong combat spell in its place. However, casting a divination spell at 4th level would let me recoup 1 3rd level spell slot.
Nice.
Because you're a divination wizard.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's your tidal wave, right?
Yeah, that's tidal wave. So there's a part of me that's like, okay, I think Buster's starting to feel some anxiety because we are deep in enemy territory, and if we screw this up, we end up being backed into a corner while they rally their forces. So, yeah, I mean, it feels kind of cheeky that he hasn't really engaged in this fight at all, but I think he is going to hold back still, and kind of assume a meditative posture, floating freely in the water, and begin to chant, "The sea is with me, and I am one with its waves. The sea is with me, I am one with its waves." And rather than doing it 10 minutes and whatnot, he just casts it as a spell. And so his scarf begins to glow with divination magic, and he tries to connect with those divine beings again to get a sense for his goal, which is the throne room of the Sahuagin king.
And as you cast this instantly, expending the energy of the cosmos, of the multiverse, to plead and get indication of where the king is, you feel your pack, even though you're in water, get a little lighter with the 25 gold pieces worth of offerings disappearing instantly as it's being consumed by the multiverse, as it essentially the multiverse opens a portal for you and reveals this knowledge to you.
The sea is with me. I am one with its waves.
So, a single question or goal, event, or activity that will occur within 7 days is what the spell says.
But it doesn't take into effect anything that's happening right now that could affect what's happening in the next 7 days. So if we weren't here, where would the throne room be? You know what I mean? Like that's because it doesn't take into factor like what you're doing right now to affect the next 7 days.
Yes. So as you peer in, the multiverse opens to you, and it's not even like a specific deity like you saw previously. This is just your eyes go that purple black void that you think of when you think of the cosmos and you think of space, like deep illuminated space. You see that as you then rush. You basically have almost like a reverse vision of that you had when you divined and identified the deck of many things. You go back from way out to where nothing exists, and you zoom in towards Galarian, and you see things so quickly, and because you have been perceiving so much the past couple rounds, you actually see large creatures flying through the astral sea. You see ships that are trying to rope these creatures. You see a female woman captain yelling orders as she has a peg leg as she's stomping around through this ship that is flying with these golden sails, and it goes down past through the clouds to where you can see your island that you're currently in with the cove and the thickets and the vines, and you dive down in it. The camera pans into the water and through the walls as it goes down the caves into the corridor to where you are. And as it goes into your vision, it just flows forward into the throne room, and the path that it follows is straight north.
Yes.
Past Max, past Ignis, past the fairy fighter Sahuagin, banking left, going down into some darkness, and then it banks right. And because of your divination spell, let me see if I can give you some further details here. As it follows down into this pathway, you see a massive, gnarled hammerhead shark that is got cuts and scars as it's floating and swimming around, and directly behind it, in the throne room itself, is a Sahuagin with these 4 arms coming out of its body. 2 of them are plated in golden armor, and it's wearing gold armor all across its body. Its wicked teeth showing forth, and the top of its fins are plated with this golden armor. Its front side being covered, its back side it being a little bare, so to allow for freedom of movement, holding this wicked pincer-like javelin, looking around as it notices one of the non-combatant but stray Sahuagins start swimming into the throne room, and then you break out of it.
Yep, that's the way. Definitely the way. And the king's big, and he has golden armor. A big old smile on Buster's face.
We can melt it down. We can sell it.
He has big golden arm.
I want that armor. I didn't see the intimidating crazy creature. I saw the gold. Yeah, that's great. Then I'll use whatever movement I can to move that direction, I suppose.
Great. So 15 feet will get you right next to Ignis, leaving the Sahuagin next to the Echo Ignis and Ataraxia, trying to take a stab at you, but being taken up with Ataraxia and Ignis here.
Because it only gets 1 opportunity attack per round, right?
It does. And so it now goes to Ataraxia here. You're going to almost close out the end of the round here, but let's see if we can end it with a bang.
Yeah, I look at this one remaining Sahuagin in front of me, and I'm feeling a little tired of this guy, so I just look at him and go,
Oh my gosh, you stabbed a child. How does that feel?
and cast another vicious mockery. Oh, I hadn't even thought of that.
No. He literally says that.
This is your conscience.
Catching strays. Catching strays.
This is an 18 on the saving throw.
18 on the save? Freaking silvery barbs that, gosh.
Okay.
They can't see the tears in the water.
This is a 21 on that save.
21. Apparently he feels really good about killing children.
He has nerves of steel right now. He knows he's about to die, and he just needs to cause as much damage to block and hinder you before getting to the king. And he smutters something in Sahuagin, which you don't know, but which Buster and Max hear as,
I will kill any child I must to prevent you from reaching my king.
Cool. I guess bonus action. We're going to give a bardic inspiration to Max, and we'll give the silvery barbs inspiration to Ignis.
wow, everybody has a ton of inspiration moving into this hopefully final battle that we have coming up here. So
Yeah, and I mean, this guy doesn't care. I'm done with this guy. I'm just going to swim to join my friends. And
all right. As you swim to join your friends, he does take the opportunity attack against you, Ataraxia. He don't know why he singled out a kid, but he got a 15 on the die.
well, that is exactly my armor class.
That's going to be some damage to you then. All right. And this is going to just be a d8. That is only 6 points of slashing damage to you.
All right.
You don't have to roll a concentration check on the fairy fire if you don't want to. And now it's going to be his turn. He is going to try to bite against this echo. Ignis. Does an 18 hit?
An 18 does in fact hit. And as he bites right into her and he thinks that there's going to be blood, all that comes out is just this bright light, and it blinds him as it expands and explodes out.
And he dies.
Oh.
So he bites, and now Max is next to him, so he's just going to jab right into Max with his scimitars. First is an 8. Second is a 15.
15 does hit.
Ah, there we go. This one is just 3 points of slashing damage to you as he yells at you and goes, "Fight me! Fight me, you cowards!"
Just ignoring this guy.
As he killed everybody else, he's like,
Trying to pull you to him. He is going to try to swim in front of you, though.
I'm the
to
king.
try to
Where are you going?
to try. Can you not see my golden
Opportunity
armor?
attack, maybe?
So he doesn't leave your attack
Oh, okay,
opportunity.
okay.
The only person that he leaves is actually Max. So Max is the only one who could take an opportunity attack as he swims directly in front of Ignis.
Can you do opportunities with ranged weapons?
It has to be melee unless otherwise specified, like through a spell, feature, or feat.
Okay. Max will just quickly reach for his scimitar and try and slash him.
There you go. No disadvantage. Go ahead and roll because you have a swim speed, sir.
Scimitar. Okay, and he's not fairy fired, right?
He's not, so just a straight roll.
Okay, that is a 19 to hit.
19 is a hit. Let's
Okay.
see if you take this guy out.
Okay,
Let's go.
6.
Jacob, tell us how it's done.
As he's swimming by, Max will just like grab the back of his head and bring him in close to his face. And as he does, he's whipping out the scimitar and just stabbing into him and just looking at him. And he's just going to growl in a very low register.
You don't kill kids.
No, you don't.
There you go. Yes, exercise that feeling in a healthy way.
And as this is the last Sahuagin in this combat, the combat is over. The initiative is over with full confidence of where to go and where to head. With most everybody having advantage and inspiration in their pockets, we're going to end this week's episode of I Cast Fireball. Well done.
"Do we level up?"
Nice battle.
I'm just kidding.
We level up.
Do we level up?
Would it be ridiculous for Buster to grab a crossbow and a scimitar off of the dead guys?
No, you're right next to one of them, so you can
Sweet.
easily snatch one of them. The scimitar will give you disadvantage.
I'll grab the
regardless,
crossbow and leave the
but
scimitar.
the crossbow at least will get you something
I
that you can use.
have proficiency with the crossbow, so I'll
Nice.
just grab
Perfect. There you go. So you grab the light crossbow and you grab that, and we're going to see what happens on this next episode of I Cast Fireball. Mickey, Josh, Ned, and Jacob, thank you for playing. Listeners, thank you for listening and for following along on these fun, wacky adventures that we have. If you like what we're doing, a 5-star review would go a long way on the podcatcher of your choice. We don't always get to see them because we don't always get notifications, but we do know how much it boosts our algorithm, or if you will, or at the very least just lets us know that you like what we're doing and keeps us motivated to keep going on for many, many years to come. And if you wanted to get to us more directly, you can shoot us an email at icastfireball2020@gmail.com. But we wanted to shout out a review today, a 5-star review that I don't believe we've done. This is from a buddy of ours, HN2DM, or in other words, How Not to DM, left a 5-star review with saying an adventure that immerses you. Love the story, the camaraderie, and the way that everything is narrated and introduces real scenes. Vivid descriptions and narrations immediately transport you. Derek, that was for you. Thanks for leaving us a 5-star review out there. Also going to shout out an email that we got from Jaren. Jaren shot us an email at icastfireball2020@gmail.com with the caption or the subject line, "You guys are great. You are amazing. I've been listening for a long time," and they don't remember how long they've been listening, but they wanted to let us know that we've inspired them to DM their own campaign.
Let's go.
Woo!
Rock and roll.
Love
That's
it.
awesome.
Which is already a win, but a double win is that they're going to, of course, allow in their game Punspiration. So a double win there. And so, Jaren, thank you for reaching out to us. If you want to get shouted out on a future episode, shoot us an email, leave a review. You can reach out to us at iCastFireball20 at our social medias on Instagram and Facebook. Even on our YouTube, you can leave some comments there. But the most direct way to get in touch with us is by joining our patron-exclusive Discord channel by going to patreon.com/iCastFireball20 and joining our $5 a month tier, where you can get into all of our Discord threads and where you can get not only behind the scenes looks through our Patreon, but you can actually submit questions, you can ask questions, you can riff with other fans. And a recent thing that we posted on our Patreon was a 90-minute sit-down hangout with the DM that we had. That should be, I believe we did it by the time this is going to be released. It will have been last month that we did that. So go take a look at that if you wanted to get some ideas for your own DMing as well. We want to shout out some other people here, though. We want to shout out our sister podcast, Improv Tabletop. They've got amazing campaigns. Ned has been talking extensively to me behind the scenes about his patron-exclusive campaign they've got going on, which is so much fun. And Vikings and chaos and lore. And Ned, anything else to add to that?
Yep, we are doing a big sort of, you know how in the Two Towers, when the Fellowship splits up into different groups and you follow each of the different groups with what they're doing for various parts of the adventure, we're going to be doing something similar to that. We've got one group that we're playing with right now, but then we're going to be swapping between different groups as they each attack Ragnarok from their own directions to try and stop the world from getting completely destroyed.
Lovely. So as a rotating cast comes in, you can get a lot of different flavors of how people play. I think right now we've got Connor in there, who has a very distinctive and amazing play style compared to, I believe we're going to have Josh in a future campaign, who also has a different play style as well. So every new crew or cast is going to have a different flavor to it, which would be a lot of fun. Lastly, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends and fellow wacky adventurers, though. But until next time, I'm Thomas, your DM, and around the table we have
Lieutenant Ignis Harkon, Ataraxia Kalian,
And Buster Bilgewater. Let's give a power going. We'll see you all next time.